안녕하세요. Good afternoon. This is your host, Jackie. You're listening to IMW Radio. It's been a decade that Korean society accepts the migrant workers as part of their labor force, but there are also hidden stories that we need to unfold. They are even considered stranger in a foreign land, that they have no idea on the risk that they have to undergo. Their lives are like a toss of a coin. Sometimes you're down and there are times you're up. Immigrant workers are known as guest workers are considered a major workforce of industries and businesses that makes the Korean companies boom these days. However, they are also victims of discriminatory rules in Korean society. Park said that it is important to educate and raise awareness of the harms of discrimination. According to UNESCO Director General Irina Vukova, that behind the face of every migrant and refugee, there is an individual story that transforms into stories of hope. She added that racial discrimination is a poison that diminishes individuals and societies, perpetuates inequality, and feeds anger, bitterness, and violence. Today's podcast will discuss the unusual stories of migrants in Korea and on how they cope with loneliness from their families 100 miles away from them. The Untold Stories of Migrants in South Korea. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Okay, what are the dark realities of migrant workers' experience in South Korea?
Okay, so let me start my sharing about the dark realities. Okay, and though it's really bad to talk about dark realities, but I can still remember around 2008. I remember a friend who once told me that, "Oh, Nessie, you are so lucky you have the E1 visa because." According to her, it's better compared to her visa. I said, yeah, E1 visa is a visa that could give you a better job. You are highly paid, lesser stress, and highly respected by many people. And she told me that her job was a singer in a nightclub. And then she said she sang all the night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. from Monday to Sunday. This is without overtime pay, and she said she only received 700,000 won. That's maybe a half of my salary. Yeah. And at first, she just conditioned her mind that maybe she has to be patient and she has to embrace her job. She without this complaining because she really needed the money so badly, but. When her manager started to assign her to an extra job, like going out with a special guest, a male guest, it was then that she decided to escape from the club, leaving all her documents to her boss. She said that prostitution in the nightclubs are rampant, especially in Seoul, because she was working in Seoul at that time. And women are abused and forced to do sex labor. This is without our knowledge. And I am living in a very pleasant place with my employer in this country. And maybe there are really like this one.
So it's a sad reality.
Yeah, it's a very sad reality.
For me, I want to share both bright reality and dark realities. First, bright realities. I remembered about 4 or 5 years ago, I met one migrant worker from Kyrgyzstan who worked in Kimje chicken farm. While I remembered him, he didn't send his salary to his family. Instead, he saved all of his salary in Korea. Then the time came to finish his contract and to return to his country. He actualized his dream, which by the used excavator. Do you know? It cost around 50 million won. He explained that he can guarantee to his life in his hometown by this excavator, even the used one. He had his own goal before he came to Korea, so he realized his dream. On the other hand, most migrants sent lots of his salary and couldn't save it because sending money could help his family. Then, at the same time, his life before coming to Korea and after returning to his home country. That's why I want to share this is a good and bright reality of migrants.
Okay.
And the other side, the dark realities. Also, 3 years ago, I met one Sri Lankan migrant worker who contacted by job center. At the time, he just arrived in Korea a couple of months ago. He had a mental problem or an illness by his serious experience. That was he first came to Korea 5 years before at the time. After a couple of years later, his wife left from home, family. I didn't ask and I didn't know exact story about that. However, he had a problem or an illness by this reason, and he had a trauma when he came back Korea again. He was so sad and hard to accept this situation. I tried to persuade his situation and whatever he had to choose for his own good for 2 weeks. Finally, he decided to go back his home and promised to hospitalize in Sri Lanka. 6 months later, I received a joyful email from him, which he was fully received, and he went to work in Qatar construction site. That's good for him.
Yeah, and I also have one story to tell you. It's a bad news.
Okay.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, a foreign student from India experienced discrimination. He was about to enter a beer bar with his friends in Seoul. A guard asked them to see their ID cards to check they are adults or not. And suddenly said Indian cannot enter.
Oh.
Yeah. So he felt insulted because his friends can enter that. They are from other countries, Colombia, Russia, France, and Afghanistan. So I don't know why the bar has these kinds of rules, but I can guess from 2007 National Human Rights Commission report. That report explains one restaurant don't allow to enter someone comes from Africa because the restaurant had trouble with Nigerian before. But they cannot make an excuse about discrimination.
Right.
Yeah, I had hoped it won't happen anymore, but it happened again. Yeah.
So the things that we can't avoid.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How did the migrants cope with these realities? There is good and bad example of their situation. So how did they cope with this kind of problems?
Okay. In her case, the one I told you just a while ago, she just keep herself busy with her job and been loaded with all the things that make her forget about bad things that happened to her. And then she just keep in touch with her family in the Philippines. It's very important, I think. And she avoided Filipino gatherings, but tried to contact some trusted few friends, Filipino friends. And she said that she have to save 50% of her income and plan to go home after 5 years, if not caught by the immigration.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So she followed the common rules of her job, and then she paid for her house rent, bills, and other obligations. And then during the rest days, she stayed in her apartment. She will only go out for some few important things, especially food. And that's it. Let's make her just safety for a few years in Korea.
So it means she's undocumented.
Yes, undocumented.
Yeah.
She became an undocumented after she escaped from her first job.
Okay.
In my case, a student from India, he thought he needs to spread out about it for the better society, because it's not only his problem,
Yes.
that's society and global issue.
Correct.
So he took a video and uploaded it in his SNS. So lots of people commented. So finally, the owner of beer bar posted an apologetic message.
Oh.
Yeah. After that, he said it's good thing for the owner to admit his mistakes. And I still love Korea. That's why I try to let everyone knows it to make our society better.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there was a good action to reveal this problem. And I also feel so sorry it happened in Korea. But on the other hand, this happening would be a chance to look back on ourselves, like prejudice, racism, and so on. I hope that. And it's true, if we do something continuously, anything can change. But I know it's not easy to go into action. Korea is still in the process to adapt multicultural society.
You're right.
We'd better to help it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So individuals should help one another.
Yeah.
In Korea, most migrant workers spend in Korea 4 or 5 years. Of course, some of them is more than that period, but they have to be prepared. I mean, before he start to be a migrant worker, he have to make his plan on his life, not on himself, with also with his family. The left family, because all family have to prepare together their after become a migrant workers, because 4 or 5 years each member of the family separate, the living separately is not too easy, very difficult. And also after the migrant workers life, and after come back to home, until that time have to make a plan, big planning of for his life, how to save the money, and then after back how much I spent during the migrant life, and then after back how much I saved the money, and then after I back home, and then how to spend to live by this amount with my family, how to live like whole the life they have to planning, big kind of like a big and good picture, like to plan. The planning is the important thing.
So it's a financial management.
Yeah,
Time
right.
management.
Yes, right.
Being alone or being with fellow migrants, what do you usually do when you are with fellow migrants, or when Koreans mingle with other nationalities who work in Korea? Do you think it helps that they fulfill their goals and aspirations while staying in South Korea?
Yeah, in my case, just based on my experience in Korea, I prefer to be just with few friends than with a lot of fellow migrants, because sometimes, when you are in a big gatherings, people mess up everything. And I really don't like to mess up with that. A lot of unimportant things. Maybe we enjoy sharing with many things with the crowd, with the fellow migrants, but I want to train myself to enjoy with only simple few things. That's it.
For me, as my experience, I think one of the most difficult things in migrant life is the loneliness. I felt too, as my 4 years migrant experience, because I've been in the U.S. for 3 years and 1 year in Ecuador during the time. So it can be related between the issue of being alone or being with someone and family life. When someone felt very lonely, he wanted to be with others. It's very natural, I
So,
think.
how did you adjust the differences between U.S. and Ecuador? Are there any serious adjustment, especially the culture and the people?
I think my situation also is different because in the U.S. I was as a student for studying, and in Ecuador for me, kind of as a kind of the missionary life. So it's different. I met the different people. So in the U.S. very little bit kind of how to say, it's a very official relationship, common public relationship. But in Ecuador, I felt all of them. We become friends. So I felt in Ecuador, I feel less lonely than in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a migrant also 4 years ago for studying English. It lasts only 6 months.
Okay.
I know you guys have stayed for a long time in Korea as migrants. Anyway, that time I chose being with others. I visited agency a lot to get information and join many activities. In the beginning, yeah. So I met Korean officers and fellow migrants in the agency. So that was good to adjust my new environment. Yeah.
Exposure.
Yeah. And then I tried to make foreign friends, not Korean, because I have to make more chance to speak English and experience other culture. So I went to language school, and after school I went to also sightseeing with foreign friends. It helped to fulfill my purpose. Yeah. I think loneliness is the biggest enemy for migrant life.
True.
Yeah. That's why I met many people. Sometimes I felt lonely, even though I was with others. I missed my family and friends a lot. There is no solution not to miss them, I think. Yeah. But if I didn't make friends, I couldn't endure, that time.
So what do you advise the migrants to stay away from other migrants or just stay with their fellow migrants? Why do you think so?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. It always depends on the situation. If you think this group of people would harm your stay or would harm your peace of mind, maybe probably you can stay away from them. But if this group of people probably give you an advantage of your stay here, then probably you can always mingle with this kind of friend. I also like to be alone sometimes. Sometimes we want to be alone, right?
Yeah.
And during our loneliness, I mean alone but not lonely. Okay. Yeah. I in my case, I used to watch movie at home. I watch movie from morning to evening, probably around 7 movies or less than 7 movies. Yes. I swim.
Movie only.
Yeah. I swim in movies when I want to be alone, but sometimes I cook or bake my favorite Filipino food. And then make my own dresses. I always make my own dresses. And then I play the guitar, I play the piano, I go shopping without money or with money. And do a lot of interesting things. I only join big gatherings with my fellow Filipinos. That is during the Mass. It's always every Sunday. I never miss every Sunday. Also during Migrants Day, because we have an obligation to do, and then sometimes attending birthday celebration of friends, and also for those who are strangers, we just find ourselves in the celebration without an invitation.
So a gate crusher.
We said, no, not a gate crusher, because somebody told us to come for the celebration. That's why sometimes I told you it's sometimes we want to be alone, and sometimes we want to be with friends.
I think it doesn't matter whether he is a single or already married. Most migrants become the main source of family financial support for better life in the future, etc. But ironically, those reasons for family can be at risk. Migrants in Korea have been maximum 10 years. Migrants who I met have visited his family after 3 to 5 years in average. But also it is too long time, especially married migrants miss their lovely children and wife. So they try to contact often by video call or kind of the SNS chat, something like that. Try to contact.
Yeah, my time. You may know my answer. Yeah, I want to advise the migrants to stay with their fellow migrants. You can get more information and can make easy adjustment with the unfamiliar culture and being with others. You can be with people who come from your country, Korea, and other countries. But it depends on personal disposition. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Someone prefers to be alone.
Right.
Yeah. And additionally, undocumented migrants tend to be alone, not to be reported to the police.
Correct.
Or immigration. Yeah. They don't want to be involved any crime, even traffic violation.
That is true.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. If they were suspects on crime, the police should to report to immigration. So then they would go back home country. Yeah. But except when they are victims or witness, not suspect. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a case-to-case basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like that.
All right, let's talk about more on family life. How does migration affect the family life and condition of living abroad?
You can just imagine the distance.
Yes.
Very
From
long
Korea and the
distance.
Philippines, it's very far. And that case, family are really affected with that. Number one is loneliness. We miss our family, and our family also miss us. And we can only visit them. It's good. It's in our part, because we can visit our family every winter and every summer, but other people, they
Can't.
visit. Yes, it's very difficult for that. Sometimes we quarrel with my husband even in chat or over the phone, and we cannot avoid that. Okay, and just because my husband usually think about bad things in his mind, but I always remind myself that I am committed to my family. That's the very important thing. And therefore I have to keep that promise, and I have to keep that most important obligation in my life. How do I satisfy my needs? Personal, maybe probably desire, or maybe probably sex needs, I think. I just forget about that. I just eat my favorite food, and then maybe travel some amazing places with some friends. I said go shopping, chat with my family almost every day. I go to mass every Sunday. That's one way of visiting the church, and visit my family and friends in the Philippines every winter and summer. I can do that because we can. Okay, that's it. I think it's just a routine, and maybe some of my friends said, "Oh, that's a very boring routine," but it's okay. But because I love doing that, so that's the only thing I. And what is important is that I am happy with my family, and I'm happy doing and contented with what I have. Somehow, migration can affect the stability of the family, and could ruin the foundation. Many people separated because the wife were not able to contact the husband. The husband has another woman in his life in the other countries, and there are really many cases of broken homes like that. Divorce, children addicted to drugs, early pregnancy, school dropouts, and then other just because their parents were not around to guide them and to keep good relationship with the husband or the wife. I think that's it. That's really affected the family.
So communication, constant
Yes, we have to
communication is very
contact.
important.
If possible, every day.
Mm?
We have to contact them just
right.
to
Right.
lessen the commute gap with the
Yes.
family.
About the family life, first I want to introduce one recently Korean kind of a Korean joke. The kind of the weekend husband wife. I mean the husband usually the job is the distance from the city, so only he's during the weekday he stay in the near of the company, and then only during the weekend he can come back the home. In that time the guys we call that guy is very lucky, and then jealous to his life because during the weekday 5 days he can separate officially publicly can separate from escape his family or wife, something like that.
And become single.
Yeah, like he can enjoy the single life during the weekday. But it's different for the migrants. The issue of the migrant family life, I think, is the matter of the Korean policy. Because in Korean migrants policy keeps going short-term returning system, basically. Means so Korean police doesn't allow stay with their family. Of course, migrants has the duty as a dad who is responsible to his family.
Of course.
It means dad can separate with his family by his work, but it should not take too long time. One of the ILO, International Labor Organization, they advise only under 3 years for the works to separate from the family. But if it can be so long time, it caused lots of problem in society and in the relationship with fellow migrants, especially with female migrants who married with Korean or also other genders and other nationalities. It is very basic human rights of family lives together. There are not exception, even migrants. Someone made his own family, they have to live together.
Yes, that's it.
That's why the issue of the relationship or family life for migrants is not only for the migrants issue. Instead, that is about the human rights and the universal issue for all. I wish last month we're gonna elected a new president in Korea, and then we're gonna begin the new government. So I wish this new government with a new president in Korea can start to change about the law or the system of the migrants.
Yes, I think so. He has to change some.
So it's like they will allow them to file permanent residency, kind of like.
Not all, but some of the I hope there's some kind of some exception to some of the allowed to change the visa and then to live with the family. His family,
especially for the sincerity workers, right?
Yeah.
After that, especially after sincerity worker.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think whole family members have a hard time due to migration. So they miss each other and feel loneliness. Migrant workers usually keep in touch with their family using voice or video call or SNS. But it's not enough. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Someone cannot attend children's
Yes.
graduation ceremony or parents' deathbed, funeral, like, yeah,
Yes.
because they cannot live together.
Yes, and they also become a stranger to the family.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe the children didn't notice.
Yeah, even if they talk through Facebook or
Oh,
probably
yeah, yeah.
Skype, but in reality, when they go home,
Yes, bare kids after
Yes.
5 years. Oh,
Yes.
who is this guy?
yeah,
Your father.
This is your father. You're
yeah,
there.
true.
It's
Yeah.
awkward.
Yes.
And-
Happen.
yeah, especially if migrant workers has a husband or wife or
That's
kids. The situation is getting difficult, I think. Yeah, I can't imagine how they endure long distance relationship. I can just guess. When I went abroad, my boyfriend got many complaints about long distance relationship. Yeah. At the time I realized it's very important to keep our promise, even very tiny things like call every day, once a day or like that, yeah. To have faith each other. I heard some have extramarital relationship or divorce, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. I think it's the best solution to change migrant policy in Korea, yeah, that allows migrants to live with their family, like Chilo said. Yeah, I hope it will happen soon.
Do you think it will happen? I don't think so.
We
think
don't
so.
know. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe the family can visit, but not to live maybe here. There are so many migrant workers, and you can just imagine.
Kind of the step by step.
Yeah, yeah.
First,
Visiting
Family
is
flocking to
freely,
Korea.
freely their family visit also is have to open. This is not.
And also Koreans should accept that they have a lot of migrants here,
Yeah.
because sometimes the Korean also discriminates the migrants.
Yeah, of course.
They are not used to it, especially the old people.
Koreans first have to change.
And they have to change because they need migrant workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We would like to express our gratitude to all our podcast listeners. Thank you, Nessie, Director Cirilo, and Sohi for sharing your thoughts on migrant workers. Migrant workers are made up of different countries and races. Though they belong to the minority group, but they strengthen the bond of humanity and a rightful dignity as a foreign workers in South Korea. They travel far and wide to feed their families, but it doesn't mean that their rights must be taken for granted. They also have the right to speak and stand up for what they believe is with humane equality. The hardships that they sacrifice for a better future for their family cannot replace monetary value of their absence on the occasions of birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, and funerals in their home country. They miss important celebrations and mournings, but they never ever forget remittances even in times of crisis. We hope that Filipino migrant workers here may they continue to inspire to be a strong source of strength of their fellow migrants and to serve as an aspiration to different nationalities as well. Good afternoon, guys. Enjoy summer vacation and see you next time.
Okay, see you next time.
Say goodbye.
Have a good vacation.
Bye.
Bye.